I don't think there's a better video that summarizes the kind of things we do on this channel as much as this one. This is a virtual machine of Windows XP running in Minecraft. Why? Well, why not? I'm going to show you exactly how to do it in this video, so let's get started. Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Now in today's video, as you saw from that little intro clip, we're going to be taking a look at a modification for Minecraft that allows you to run virtual machines inside of the game. It's a pretty cool modification called MCVM computers, so I'm gonna have everything you need down below in the video description to get this up and running. The first thing you're gonna wanna do is head on over to the project's GitHub page, where you can get not only information about the project, but also download it by clicking on this releases link on the right side of the page. As of this video, the latest release is 1.4.8, which was published on August 2nd, so this is over a month old at this point, but there have been obviously numerous revisions to it. Now, this file is not the only thing that you need. This mod relies on the Fabric modding toolchain for Minecraft, which you can download through this link right here. You also want to get the Fabric API mod, which we'll get into in a moment. So this is the Fabric webpage right here. It's over at fabricmc.net/use. You want to download the latest installer, which is going to be another jar file, but when you actually double click on this one to execute it, it will actually come up with a window that looks like this. Now, because this mod is a little bit old, there have been a few releases of Minecraft, a few versions that have been released since the mod was released. So, unfortunately, this mod does not work on the latest version of Minecraft, which as of this video is 1.16.2. So, in the Fabric installer, you want to make sure you're on the Client tab and change the Minecraft version from 1.16.2 to 1.15.2. And you can leave the loader version as whatever the latest version is. Once you do that, you want to press the install button, and what this will do, assuming you check create profile here, which you want to do, this will create a profile in your Minecraft launcher. What you also want to do is go over to this link right here, the Fabric API mod, and I'll just have a direct link to this down below in the description as well. You'll be brought to a main page. You want to click on this Files tab right here, because again, we don't want to download the latest version of this. The latest version is for 1.16.2. We want to download the version for 1.15.2, which is this build right here. So you want to download this, and this will be another jar file. You want to take both this jar file and the jar file that you downloaded for the MC Computers mod itself, and you want to copy those files, or we'll move them to the mods directory in your .minecraft folder. So this is my .minecraft folder. I'm inside of the mods directory, and I've got both the Fabric API file as well as the MCVM Computers jar file in here. So you want to have both of those in here before you actually launch Minecraft. And last but not least, you want to install VirtualBox, which this mod requires to function properly, because this does use VirtualBox. It essentially runs it in the background. Now, as the author states here, you need to have a 6.1 release of VirtualBox. This means that the version number has to begin with 6.1, so the latest version as of this video, 6.1.14, will work. Now, to launch this modded version of Minecraft, if you've never done this before, you want to open up your regular Minecraft launcher, and down here at the bottom you should see this new option for Fabric Loader 1.15.2. If you don't see this, you want to go down here and click on this and change it from latest release to Fabric Loader 1.15.2, and then click on the play button. So when you load up the modded version of Minecraft, before you even get to the title screen, you're going to be presented with this setup screen right here, where you have to type in your VirtualBox directory. If it's not already in here, for me it actually wasn't, I had to manually type this in, but you want to type in whatever directory you've installed VirtualBox to. This next screen should auto-populate with the directory of the VM Computers folder, where the mod will store the virtual hard disk and ISO files that will be utilized by the virtual machine. If it doesn't auto-populate in here, you want to just type in the location of this directory, click on next, and now what you have is the option to change the VM unfocus key combination. So what this by default is left control, right control, backspace, and that is when you go up to one of the monitors in the game and click on it, it will essentially capture your mouse input and your keyboard input, just like in a VirtualBox virtual machine. So this is where you can specify the key combination to get out of that. Now you want to specify the the maximum amount of RAM that can be utilized by the virtual machine. I have this set to 4 gigabytes or 4096 megabytes, and for the video memory I have it set to 256 megabytes. So click on confirm, then it will attempt to start VirtualBox, and then once it says VirtualBox 6.1.12 works, it will then begin to load Minecraft. Alright, so here we are in my Minecraft world. Now, to create a virtual machine inside of Minecraft, the first thing we have to do is create a virtual computer. And there are two ways to do this. The primary way, and if you were in survival mode, the only way, is to craft one of these ordering tablets. Now, the recipe for this is this right here. It's 4 obsidian, 1 daylight sensor, 1 clock, 1 compass, 1 stone button, and 1 glass pane in the center. The recipe for this is also on the GitHub page. So that's how you have to craft the ordering tablet. And this is the only thing that you need to craft. You don't have to craft any of the other parts. If you're in creative mode and you don't really want to deal with that, you can just open up your inventory and scroll over by clicking on this scroll button right here. And there are going to be these 3 new tabs up here for PC parts, peripherals, and others. And just like with any other item, you can just take as many of these as you want and bring them into your hotbar and just build a computer that way. But I'm going to show you how the ordering tablet works because it's pretty cool. And this is the ordering tablet right here. Now you can see when I select it in my hotbar, the keypad will fold out, and we have to wait for it to find a satellite, which it conveniently did right as I said, right as I began to talk about it. So yeah, you don't get instant access to the store. You have to wait for one of these satellites to appear, which they do frequently throughout the day. So once it finds one, you want to press enter to access the store, and this is the store right here. Now, you don't have to craft any of these parts, but you do have to pay for them with iron ingots. So we're going to go through here. You see I've got a stack of iron ingots in my inventory right there, and we're going to purchase a few items. So there are multiple different types of like for example, there's a regular PC case and then a PC case with a glass side panel that costs 4 iron ingots more. We're gonna get that, so you want to just press enter on, oh yeah, you're going to be using the arrow keys, by the way, to navigate through this, but you want to press enter on the items you want to purchase. We're going to purchase a 32-bit motherboard, we're going to purchase 1 gigabyte of RAM, and we're going to purchase our host CPU divided by 4, which essentially just takes the amount of cores that your host CPU has. Mine has 8, and divided by 4 will be 2. So I'm just going to purchase essentially a dual-core virtual CPU. You want to have a GPU, a hard drive, and then you want to press the left arrow key to go back. We want to go down to peripherals now, and we want to purchase a keyboard, mouse. We're going to get a CRT screen, but you can also get a flat screen or a wall TV. You can see that the wall TV costs 4 iron ingots more than the flat screen and the CRT screen, which are both the same price, which is kind of interesting. And then once you have all the parts you want to go down to the shopping cart and press enter on that. And this is how you can remove items, by the way, if you wanted to. Maybe you selected the wrong amount of RAM that you want to purchase, or you don't have enough iron ingots to buy everything in one go. You can go over whatever item that you don't want and press enter to remove it. But I've got everything here that I want, so I'm going to go all the way down to this purchase option. You see it'll cost 56 iron ingots. I'm going to press enter to order, and that will place the order. Now what's really cool is it will send a payment chest. So the satellite will send down a payment chest. I'm going to set the time to day here so you can see it a little bit better. And the ordering tablet will tell you when it is expected to arrive. So it says arriving soon. You can see the satellite is moving closer to my location. So right now the satellite, it's moved over to me. It's sending down a payment chest, and you can see this is it right here coming down. So yeah, pretty cool. Now what you have to do is you have to have your iron ingots in your hand and right click on the chest with the iron ingots. And since I'm in creative mode, it just doesn't take any of them out of my inventory. But there you go. So I've just paid. Now if we go back to the ordering tablet, you can see it says ordered items will arrive soon. So we have to wait for that. And you see it just changed there to your items are at your location, collect your packages. And if we go over here, you can see that it's coming down like really close to me, literally right where I'm standing. So it will land here. You see we got 9 items in the chest. We're going to click it to collect the items. I think you have to right click actually. It will gradually give you all the items, so we have to click on it 9 times for all the items to come out, and then the little ship there will leave. So now we've got all these packaged boxes. Open them by right clicking on them. So here's the PC case, the RAM, CPU, GPU, hard drive, keyboard, mouse, and the CRT screen. To set everything up, we're going to first put down the PC case with the glass side panel on our little table here. So you can do that by just positioning it where you want, and you want to right click to place it down. Now what we want to do is right click on the computer case to open it up, and we'll get back to this in a moment here. And you've got some options. You want to open up the case by clicking this button down here, and depending on what motherboard you have selected, or if you have both of these options will show up here. So since I got the 32-bit motherboard, that's the only option that shows up, so I'll click that to add that. And now you want to add all of your components. So we're going to add the CPU, the GPU, and the RAM. It needs all of these to function. It also needs the hard drive, but you can see that there it says no valid hard drives found. Well, why is that? Well, that's because we have to right click on the hard drive to select the image that we want. So you can create a new virtual hard disk, and this is what this will do is create a new VDI file inside of that folder. And let me pull up the folder here to show you. So this is what the file structure of this folder looks like. You've got an ISOs folder and a VHDs folder. And despite the name of the folder being VHDs, this will utilize a .vdi file. So you see I've got a hard disk in here for Windows 95. So you can copy a virtual hard disk, like if you already had a virtual machine set up and everything, you can copy the virtual hard disk over to this folder, though you want to make sure that the name does not have a space in it. I found out that if this was originally named Windows Space 95, and the virtual computer would not recognize this hard disk image. It would be able to be seen by the hard disk here when you're choosing the disk, but when you would try to put the disk into the virtual computer, it would say that, you know, no virtual hard disk was found. So you want to make sure there's no space in the file name. So I'm going to select that disk. I'm going to click on this select button. We're going to choose Windows 95.vdi. Now we can go into the computer, so we can right click on it, open the case, and add the hard drive right here. So you see I've got Windows 95.vdi. I can click on that. So we can close out of this. Now we got to set up the monitor, the keyboard, and the mouse. Now there are no cables. You don't have to like run any cables or anything like that. So I'm going to set the monitor about right here. So we right click to set it down. We'll set the mouse right here and the keyboard right here. And now what I can do is I can right click on the computer. I can click on turn on PC. And I can go in front of the monitor here, and the virtual machine will begin to start up. So there we go. So here's VirtualBox 6.1 starting up. Now let me just right click on the monitor here to show you what happens. So now my mouse and keyboard are essentially captured by the virtual machine. So if I were to, you know, I can use the arrow keys to go up and down in this menu here in the Windows 95 startup menu. And if I try to move around or like press anything to like open up my inventory, for example, in Minecraft, none of that's going to work until I press that key combination that we set earlier in the video. So the default is again left control, right control, backspace. Once I do that, now I'll be back in Minecraft and I can open up the inventory, do whatever I want. Now unfortunately I have discovered that the minimum amount of RAM that this virtual machine will utilize is 1 GB, because that is the smallest amount that you can purchase from the satellite. Unfortunately, this does not play very nicely with older operating systems like Windows 95, because this, if you can make that out there, it says insufficient memory to initialize Windows, which is unfortunate. So we cannot really get Windows 95 to start, and it'll just be caught in an endless reboot loop here. So I can go here and I can turn off the PC by clicking on this button right here, and it will essentially do the same thing as going to your virtual machine power options in VirtualBox and turning it off. Now, since this mod creates a virtual machine in VirtualBox, you can actually open up the VirtualBox manager and get access to it. So this is it right here. It's called VM Computers VM. Now, I've tried to go into settings here and change the base memory from 1024 megabytes or 1 gigabyte to say 64 megabytes. But what'll happen is when we try to start this from within Minecraft here, it will immediately change back to 1024 megabytes. Now you can see a preview of what's going on in the monitor here right here, because the VM is essentially running, you know, like it's not opening up the window with VirtualBox. If you were to turn this off and let's say go back into settings and try to change the memory once again and power it on from here, it will keep the base memory, but it will just open up in a regular VirtualBox window, so this will not run it in the game. So unfortunately, I've had issues with getting Windows 95 to work properly. Oh, it's raining now. Isn't that great to have our computer out in the rain? One of the other unfortunate things is you are not able to attach a floppy disk drive to this virtual computer either. So if you're trying to configure an operating system like Windows 95 or Windows 98, you're not going to be able to configure it and like start from scratch in the game because you cannot attach a floppy disk drive, because obviously 95 and 98 require a boot disk before you can load the files off of the setup disk. But with newer operating systems like Windows XP, you can set them up from scratch, all from within Minecraft. So I've got another virtual hard drive here. We're going to right click on it and this time create a new virtual hard disk, and we're going to type in the size, let's say, you know, 10 gigs, so we'll do 10,000 megabytes. Click on create new hard drive. Then you just want to attach the virtual hard disk like we did before, and press the right control key to put the side panel back on, and select your ISO image file for the operating system you want to install, which you put into this ISOs folder inside of the VM computers directory. So we're going to turn on the PC, and now when we go to the monitor here, the virtual machine will power up and we'll boot right into the Windows XP setup. So there we go. Well everybody, here we are loading up Microsoft Windows XP Home Edition. I went ahead and went through the installation process. I'm sure you guys have seen that a million times before, especially on this channel. I mean, we literally just did a video a couple days ago of getting Windows XP installed on that ThinkPad. But unfortunately, one of the disadvantages of using a virtual machine in this way is there's no sound. There is no sound support yet. And obviously this is not the most ideal way. I mean, this kind of goes without saying. This is not the most ideal way to use a virtual machine. But this is just really cool. I mean, you have to admit, this is just a really cool thing. It's awesome that this was able to be developed. One of the other things that I want to show you guys, and is why I left this CRT screen in my inventory, you can set up multiple monitors. So I can set up, let's say I want to have 2 more monitors on this desk, but it's not the multiple monitors that you're thinking. They're just going to mirror the exact same image. Now, this does utilize a headless virtual machine, which essentially what that means is the virtual machine is still running in VirtualBox. I can bring over the VirtualBox manager right here, and you can see that it will show it as running, and I can even click on show here to show the window. And if I were to move this window around, notice on the Minecraft screen in the background, the window will move on those screens as well. If you were to open this up, you want to make sure when you close out of it that you click on continue running in the background to close out of it, and that will leave it running in the background in its headless state. And then I can come back to Minecraft here and mess around with the virtual machine just like I was doing before. This also means that if you were wondering if there are any like proximity requirements, like the monitor has to be a certain number of blocks close to the virtual computer, no, there's really not. You just have to make sure you have the virtual computer configured with all of these components to be able to power on the virtual machine from within Minecraft. But once you do that, I could fly like all the way over here. You see I've got a monitor on top of this tree here. I can go anywhere that I want in the world and place down a monitor, and I will see the exact same thing. And you probably saw there are multiple different types of monitors. There is a flat screen and a wall TV, and I can place these anywhere I want as well. Now, the wall TV is probably the easiest way to interact with the virtual machine because it is the largest screen. You can also place it wherever you want. You can have it literally floating in the air if you want. This is definitely not the greatest way to use a virtual machine because it is definitely a little bit laggy. You can see as I move this window around, it's definitely, you know, there's a bit of a lag here, a bit of latency. But that is to be expected with the way that that this is running here. So I can run WinVer, I can mouse over this, bring the window down here, so there it is. Now if you're wondering how to remove these screens, you cannot left click on them. That doesn't really do anything. Right clicking on them obviously will capture your mouse and keyboard input. What you have to do is hold down the shift key and then right click on it, and that will get rid of it, and it will drop it as an item, and you can then pick it up. So if you want to move any of these monitors around or just get rid of them, I can do that. I can say I want to move this over here. You can do that. And this is the same with the keyboard and the mouse as well. And even if you want to just take up the entire computer, you can even get rid of the built PC, because again, the virtual machine is running at this point. You just started it from the game, so you could literally get rid of the built PC and you can still use the VM totally fine. But to start it again, you're going to have to build the PC again from within Minecraft and then open it up and click that, you know, power on VM button, because if you were to power on this VM from within the VirtualBox Manager, when it's powered off, it'll just power on like any other VirtualBox VM. But that is a brief demonstration of this mod, guys. Again, just a really awesome modification for Minecraft. I definitely, you know, recommend it. It's totally free to check out. And if you have Minecraft and you're even just slightly interested, just go for it. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, if you want to see more like it, definitely be sure to give it a thumbs up. Be sure to get subscribed down below and turn on those channel notifications if you haven't already, to get notified whenever I upload a new video, which I do multiple times every single week on this channel. Guys, I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.